Okay, so we've got a good connection, and so um, tonight I was flying a mission with my wingman. We were flying in the Syria map, but particularly in the Lebanon area uh, near Rene Mouawad airfield, where I've set up like a marine base, and we were being attacked by I guess Syrians and Iranians, and so it's a fictional thing I did. Mainly, I wanted to practice flying the F-18 and shooting sparrows, which we don't do very often. And the other thing I wanted to do was to do some air-to-ground. And I've also been practicing flying the Harrier lately, so now that we've taken care of most of the air threats, I'm still in my multiplayer server. And as you can see from the list in the briefing, there were lots of possible missions. We started out with Pontiac 4, which was a flight where we flew some F-18s to drop Rockeyes and Mark 83s on some targets. And we had a lot of trouble trying to drop our Rockeyes with the F-18s, so I don't know if anybody else has encountered this, if it's a known issue or what, but you can comment in the comments if you've had the same issue, because we were sort of wondering why our bomb fall line was sort of like at a 45-degree angle. It was very weird, and there's almost no wind in the mission, so it shouldn't be affected by wind. In any case, we did that flight. We dropped our bombs and fired some guns at the enemy troops, and then we went to practice landing on the carrier. Then my wingman flew with Uzi 11, where he had like a strategic bombing to do with Mark 83s, and I did Sting 11, where I went no, not Sting, Squid 11, where I did some close air support on T-55s, and I practiced my Mavericks, which I hadn't done in a while, on the F-18. But yeah, our target that we had hit originally with Pontiac, still quite a few targets left. I've already flown the mission that was assigned for the Harrier, which I believe is Springfield 8-1. And I've pretty much leveled the whole area where its targets were. And so now I'm going to go back to the target for Pontiac 4 and try to hit that target with my Harrier. So I'm just going to hit fly now so that we can go check the plane. Check it in the outside view so you can see that I have some Mark 83s, some rockets and sidewinders. And if we go check F10, this is my big base that I created for the Marines. And we have CAS Alpha, which I just hit with the Harrier earlier, and there's almost nothing left here. But CAS Bravo is where I want to go, and as you can see, we've hit quite a few targets, but there are many of them still left, so that means we'll have plenty of things I can hit. I could probably even try this artillery area as well, because we didn't go hit that, but there was some AAA shooting at us when we flew over there earlier. I took care of that T-55s plus infantry. There's nothing left in that circle here. And so yeah, you can see some down MiG-21 pilots, and I think there's a Mirage F1 pilot that was down here, yes. So we took care of most of the enemies which were coming from that area. And so now what I'll do is, I think like if we have like the flight plans, my flight plan should take me here, but instead of going to the waypoint 2 directly, I'll go here. And there is like a big forest fire here that will help me find this. And so I'm going to do this flight plan, go to this target, maybe go to the egress and come back. But it's really just because I want to get some more practice in the Harrier. So this is the plane. Get a nice loadout. See the light flashing there, so I'm gonna turn these off. I like to be stealthy when I go do my strikes. I'm gonna set this to 60 down there, and let's set up our air to ground stuff, the stores. Okay, Mark 83s, I want to drop them in CCIP and nose tail impact. That's good. And the rockets, I think they're already set up okay, so that seems to work okay. So that's going to be good for me, so we'll go back to the V-stall. I have my flaps down, I believe. Yes. Yeah, I was trying to figure out where is it that we see that. That's the place. So there. So I'm going to be doing, I think, one of those jump takeoffs where you get to a certain speed and then you bring the nozzles down to 60 degrees. And so that's something I've been practicing, and then we'll go attack our targets. So, parking brake off. We are now moving. Taxiing to the runway, and like I said, the ATC wasn't really listening to me earlier, and I'll have to review my understanding of the radio in the Harrier anyways, because I was trying to set up the frequency for the airfield and communicate, couldn't get answers, tried to communicate with the AWACS, couldn't get answers, and in the F-18s we were able to communicate with at least the AWACS. Alright, so we're going to take off on the runway 24 here. And as I said, I'm going to try to get to a certain speed. And then I'll do my little jump takeoff. So let's try this. About 130, 140, and we're jumping up. And we're going to bring the nozzles back a little bit, get the gear up. This is what we're looking like right now. And then we can get our flaps up. Pick up some speed, and that's how it's done. So we can see in the distance there's like a large fire. That's where our targets are. It's going to help us visually find it. For now, I'm going to climb and head to my first waypoint. Get my rudders centered. Switch to nav mode. There we go. Now we can see our waypoint in front of us. And I think I'm going to climb up to about 10,000. Nice and quiet. Turn on the autopilot, we'll just go straight up. So yeah, as I said, my targets, there's this big fire there, and there's like a crossroads here where there's going to be lots of trucks and vehicles and things we can hit. So I'm going to switch to waypoint 2, even though we're not heading for that, we're actually heading for the fire there. Be careful not to go not to cut too much in the center, because that's where there was AAA earlier that we detected. Speaking of that, it might be a good idea to have these things set up. That way, if I need to drop countermeasures, I can. Alright, so let's try to spot some targets here. There are a few there. This group looks like it hasn't moved much. So for my first bomb run, I think I'm going to go on that group. So we'll switch air to ground. We're in our Mark 83s. So let's go surprising. Trying to line up here with the line of vehicles I saw down there. Use my air brakes a little bit. And we can see the indications of targets there. Bombs away. Kaboom. Oh yeah, we got a lot of good hits there. And then we can drop some countermeasures just in case. And make for a nice screenshot, right? There we go. Alright, so this time I think I'm gonna go for that area here. I think I see some tents or something of the sort, so we'll drop at least one bomb on that. I'm trying to see. Yeah, there are trucks as well, so let's just try to drop trucks and tents in that sector right there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move left a bit and then line up the trucks with the tents, which is good now. And we're diving. There's our target. Bombs away. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, that would look good. I think we got our tents and some trucks. Very good. Alright, I like that. Let's switch to rockets. And so the first group of vehicles I hit, I think there's a second group of trucks a little further away from the forest that I can hit. I'm gonna go for that with my rockets. See a lot of secondary explosions in the area where the tents were. So that's good. Alright, let's dive for these.
Pull up, pull up.
There we go, nice rocket attack. I think we got some good hits there. You see some trucks left over next to that target that we had before. So we've got 14 rockets on each pod left. Trying to line up with the trucks that I see that are left. That group of trucks right there. To the left of the fires. That's what I'm going for.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude, altitude, altitude.
Yeah, we set a few on fire there. Oh, somebody's shooting. There were a few of them shooting at me. And we still have quite a few rockets. So I'll go near the crossroads where there looked like there were shooty people. Trying to determine if they're BTRs or if they're Toyotas. That's a Toyota right there.
Pull up, pull up.
Another one there.
Altitude, 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 altitude.
Okay. We got a few targets hit there again in that pass. And we still have rockets. I had a quick glance at my fuel, but this thing can stay in the air for quite some time. In fact, when I come into land, I often drop some of the fuel.
Pull up,
Now
pull
we're
up.
out of rockets.
Altitude, altitude.
So I'll switch to guns, because guns are a bit tricky to shoot with this thing. Have to be going fairly fast, and sometimes I'll even add a little bit like this of nozzle. Gonna try and see if I can spot one of those Toyotas that I think I missed. Yeah, there's one there. It's lined up with a truck as well.
Pull up, pull up.
I think I got the truck, but I missed the Toyota. Ah, well, it's got a little bit of smoke on it, so I guess I damaged it. Didn't have a visual on it. Now I see it.
Pull up, pull up. Altitude.
We got him. We got two of them there. Yeah. Good shot. Alright, that's great. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna switch to waypoint 3, which is my egress point. Switch back to nav mode. Almost at waypoint 3, so I guess we could just switch it to waypoint 4. I'm making a white turn for waypoint 4 because I know there's AAA somewhere in the center here. I think it's in that area there, where we see some of the vehicles close to the town. Alright. Reason I know that is because of previous flights with the F-18 and the Harrier. We got shot at by, I think it was a ZSU-23 there. And there's our runway, so again we can switch to the final waypoint, which will bring us there. And like I said, I often like to dump, whoops, not this, I like to dump fuel. I hope I didn't damage anything by turning off that pump. But yeah, I like to dump fuel to be light on the landing, so we'll see what we can do with that. So I'll go back to VSTOL mode. I'll get my flaps down a notch. And here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the stopper. That way we can use all of our nozzle. So right now we're pointing 35 degrees. We're going to go full flaps, bring the gear down. So that's our configuration right now. So I'm not going to do a vertical landing because I'm still a bit heavy, but I'll do a short landing at slow speeds just because it's fun to practice. My last one I did, I slowed down to about like 80 knots for the landing.
Altitude, altitude. 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 altitude, 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 altitude.
There we go. That wasn't too bad. So we were about at 80 knots when we touched down. So we'll get the flaps up. Move the nozzles back. And we'll go taxi to the parking area. Such a tiny plane. We'll get to see a little bit of the base I built for the Marines. You can see there in the back there are some walls and tents and barracks. Here I've put some sandbag walls and amphibious vehicles, Hercules. Here I've put like a little rearming station. Some crates, trucks, and fuel trucks. Again, some walls to help secure the airplanes that are parked like there. I've got some sandbag bunkers. There are some of those barracks I was talking about there with Humvees. Parked friendlies there. You see some more trucks and tents, sandbag walls. The Marines are here, right? And in front of us you can see some parked Harriers. Let's go park in front of those hangars there. Be like this. Something like that. That way they can position us. Let's put the parking brake on. Let's
Caution,
get that
caution.
cockpit window open. There we go. It's another completed mission. Came back in one piece. It's always nice. Let's go check out our target. There's still a BTR-80 here. Let's go check him out. And then we'll see that this is the area with the tents and the trucks which I got rid of with most of my big bombs. And then across from them here, I dropped some more bombs here in that group, and the ones there that were close to the forest. I think I got these guys with rockets here. There's still a Toyota. Didn't get all of them. Got a few things here as well. So yeah, there's much less of the enemy in this sector than there was before we came in. So that's quite good. But I guess we'll still need to clear a few of those Dishkas on the pickup trucks. Still some transport vehicles. Some are smoking. So that was a fun mission. Hopefully you enjoyed. Cool handout.